And I'm back. Okay, so this audition was a really interesting one. It was just different, and I love different. Everything's like a learning experience, so I'll tell you guys as I go. So basically, it's a general audition. A general audition means colleges have student films. There are students who are taking a course in like film or communications or something, and they're casting and they're looking for actors to be in their movies. This particular college does is that they just do like a general open call for any and all auditions in this area that are being done by the college. So you go up and there's like a panel of people and they all are watching you. This time I was just auditioning for one specific movie, even though I came as like a general audition. So it was just weird, but like every audition you go to is weird, so it's fine. I get there, I've been practicing the script, working on it. I get there, I sign in. First off, y'all, make sure you bring your headshot and resume to any audition you go to, whether or not they specifically ask for it. It just helps you so much because usually they do expect something like that. Or even if they don't expect it, it'll help you a lot to have that because they will like see like, oh, like he's professional, he has a headshot and resume. Or they'll be able to see your headshot, they'll be able to see your resume, so it's easier for them to keep tabs on you. It just helps. Like this time they wanted headshot and resume. They're like, hey, do you have a headshot and resume? And I was like, oh, of course I do. But there's this one kid and they're like, hey, do you have a headshot and resume? And he's like, no. And they're like, oh, okay, like, do you know why you're here? And he's like, oh, like, general, I guess. And he was just like really confused, really lost, and that's not what you want to be. You want to be prepared. Usually there's like 1 or 2 people there when I get to like these open auditions, and this time it was like 13, 14, 15 people auditioning, and they were all sitting there. And it's not too bad when it's a general audition because you know people are auditioning for different stuff, but you do feel like all eyes are on you as like you're walking in from like when you enter to like the table. So like carry yourself with confidence. I don't want y'all to be walking down with like your head down like, oh, I don't know what to do. You guys are professionals. I want y'all to be walking in there with your head up high, your chin up high, look confident, look like you know what you're doing, look excited to be there, like happy to be there. So walked in, I brought a pen because I find that sometimes situations are awkward because they're like, can you sign in? And you don't have like your pen or whatever. So I was like, I'm just gonna bring my own pen. And they did have a pen, but it was just easier for me to do it myself. And then I sit down and I'm like, great, like cool, like I'm just gonna practice my script, like let me get into character. And I start getting into character and it's like this happy character. She's kind of like really bubbly and exciting and fun. And then I look around and all the girls my age have this script and I'm like, that's cool. And the reason I notice it is because the script has like purple highlight on it. And I'm working on the script that I was sent. And someone from the desk walks over and hands me a whole new script. And they're like, okay, like you're gonna be reading this character. And it was like a really awkward moment because he's like, do you know which character you're reading for? And I was like, yeah, like this script here. And it was awkward because one, my printer doesn't work, as I said before. So I had written out, like the script was sent to me by hand. So he couldn't recognize what it was. He just saw like writing, like chicken scratch. And I was saying, like, hey, I have a script here. And he was like, okay, well here's the script just in case. And I think I was trying to portray that like, hey, like you're handing me a whole new script. And I guess he thought he was giving me a backup or something. It was just a really confusing situation where he was like, do you need the script? And I was like, well, I have a script I'm reading for, but like sure, like I'll take that script, but like you recognize that I'm reading for this other thing. And he's just basically story was I had a whole new thing that I was reading for, and not only was it like a whole new thing, it was like a completely different like scenario, completely different genre, completely different emotions, from happy to like sad. And the thing is, it didn't throw me off at all. Me like a year ago would have been like freaked out and I would have been like like I have to change this so fast, like they didn't tell me, like I'm not ready for this. But like me now, like I recognize anything can happen in that audition room. You literally have to be prepared for anything. That's one of the things I talked to myself about before my audition. I was like, things are gonna happen that you're not prepared for. The room's gonna be different, people are gonna act different, things are just not gonna be what you expect, and you have to be okay with that, and you have to be okay with the changes. So I was okay with it. And a really cool thing is that at my acting class we practice cold reading a lot. So we practice how to like handle what to do when you have a script and it's cold. And I did a video about this, I think I'll link it below. I do? I looked at the script, I read it over several times. I just made a few notes about my character and the scene in my own head. I'm stupid, so I don't know which video this was. I don't know if I can link it. I don't know if I made a video about it, but it was one of these open calls. They handed me a script and I wrote on the script, and I did not realize that they were gonna have to give it back. And the same thing happened. So I got a script and I was like, oh great, and I started like writing notes on the script, and I realized that like, no, like this is not my script, like they're gonna give it back. So just a warning, you guys, pay attention. I get so focused on like the script and like the acting and like making the character that I don't pay attention to like everything else. Just keep your eyes open, be alert. So what did I do to prepare? I took a couple deep breaths and I was like, this is fine. They're gonna understand that you're reading this cold. Like you're not expected to be memorized. I practice it as if I'm gonna read it out loud. So there was like this like little hand sanitizer thing across from me after I read the script like 5 times, and I kind of got a sense for the character, I got a sense for the scene, I got a sense for some choices I want to make. And it's kind of like a blur now because I was like really getting into the emotion of it and like working on like I'm upset, like I'm emotional, like I have all this stuff going on, and just looking at the facts of the scene. Oh, I know this happened to my character because of this dialogue and this is this, and using that to like make my emotions. After that, I would go like this. This is my resume. Let's say this is my script. I would read it and I would look up and I would say as much as I could, and then I would look down and just practice that looking up, looking down, and remembering to like listen to the other person as they're talking. And that was really good. I had to keep my glasses on, which I don't like to do in auditions, but for this one I did have to get my glasses on because I didn't have it memorized, and if I had it off it would be like a much worse audition because I'd constantly be keeping my script up near my face, and the last thing I wanted to do was cover my face. So I was just like, you know what, forget it, I'm just gonna audition with my glasses. If they don't like it, well then there's not much I can do because I'm blind. Anyway, I'm so good at life, as you guys can tell. So I practiced that, didn't throw me off. Then they wanted to talk to me with my mom about the script, so I can't tell you guys too much about what the script was because it's not my story. But basically, the person who was directing the director to direct, he was like, hey, you should tell the girls that you're reading with that like this is a really emotional scene, it's really intense, it had like bad language and it dealt with like really dark thematic things, and so he was like, you need to tell the parents about this. And so, but I had to have her come in and look over the script because I'm a minor still, so I can't be making these decisions by myself. She needs to know about what's happening. It's stuff to know. It really wasn't that bad. Like for me, it was all stuff I'm very comfortable with. I don't mind like cussing. Like a year ago, I probably would have like minded like the swear word, but like now I don't care. That didn't bother me. I love the director, by the way. Like she was very chatty, fun, and like not trying to put on this like director aura, which I hate. I don't hate it because I get it. Directors have to kind of be like, hey, so today we're gonna be doing this and we're gonna do that. And like they don't like tell you like how they're feeling or what they're thinking. But like she was very open. Basically they said this is what's happening. There's these 2 girls and we're kind of considering them because they would make certain aspects of our filming easier. Okay, like this is like my first script, and just very open with that process, which I appreciate because it makes me not have to feel so like it just makes me feel like I can loosen up a bit and I don't have to worry if I get something wrong. Am I breaking the director etiquette rule book? It was kind of weird to hear like people in the casting process don't really say what's going on, if they're considering other people or who they're considering and all that stuff. So my mom was like, oh, well, it kind of sounds like you don't have a huge chance here. Sometimes there are things in the casting process that mean you're not going to get cast no matter what happens. You're not going to get cast, and it's not because you're a bad actor. It's just because just this technical thing, just this thing that's completely behind the scenes. And that's basically what something was going on here. And so it was like, hey, like here's this thing and it means that you may not get cast whatever your performance is because there's this like technical issue. It was very interesting, and that was what was kind of the most shocking for me, and I'm not unhappy about it. I just hope that like I'm given as much of a chance because I know if I do that role, like it'll be awesome. But like I have to keep in mind that like, hey, like this might mean that you just don't have a chance in this, and you have to just do your best and try to win them over, but it just might not work. But yeah, so finally they called me into the room. It was a very nice room. I liked it. I walked in, I said hi to this person who was just setting up, and I was just like, hi, like, and like the director wasn't there and my reader wasn't there. So he was just like, oh, like, hi. And then I walked in, and then right away the reader and the director walked in. I saw the reader have a seat on the chair. It was a sitting down audition. It was very interesting. It was a very like dark, low lights, like intimate setting. My last audition at this college, there's like 10 people like watching and like 3 cameras, and you're standing up and like you're like down, and then like everyone's like above, like watching down, and that's kind of how it usually is. This is just very like intimate and close, which that was kind of nice. They were just like, okay, can you say your name? And I was like, sure. It was like, do you want me to say it to you or to the camera? And he was like, oh, to the camera. And I was like, okay. And I did it, and like they gestured something and they made it look like they were watching, but like, there was no go when you're ready, there was no ready action, there was like nothing. It was just like they were just started watching, and I was like, oh, like I guess they want me to go. Like, okay. That was really interesting. So just a scenario, I just had to like guess. I think I did pretty good. There's always places in my acting. Sometimes I'm in my head. Sometimes I'm not listening enough. Sometimes I flub on my lines. Sometimes I realize like I had it in my lap. This is me auditioning and I had the thing in my lap. And it made me have to like look down and then look back up, which is not the best. You want to kind of be like here. The main thing I had to make sure to do is just not to like look down while the other person was talking. Like look through reader's eyes the whole time, and then I looked down for my lines. And that kind of meant like I would stop in the middle of a sentence to go read, which is not the best thing. I always feel like I'm making my reader uncomfortable because I'm very like intense towards them, and I'm like projecting all my emotion towards them, and like my reader was like the nicest person ever, and I felt like I was like yelling at them and all this stuff. So after I read it, they gave me some direction. So she was like, I really liked this line, but I think you needed to be more like sassy. And she was like, is that a good director word? And she was like talking to like her teacher. She's like, is that a good way to say it? And then he went back and he like explained like the reason. He's like, okay, you are saying this, Marie, like you having this conversation and you're trying to make it meaningful and you're trying to like emphasize every little word and put in all the emotion. Like you gotta realize that like this conversation she's had it like tons of times, so it's a very sassy like done with you conversation. And I got it. It made complete sense. I figured that like what he was trying to do, I just need to be like more sassy and less like vulnerable in that moment, like less like I'm so emotional and like raw right now, like more like reserved and like I'm done with this, I'm not putting up with this crap anymore, like that kind of thing. So I got it, which is really, really good. I didn't, but it was really good that he went back and like explained it and like gave me some more backstory. So I did it again. I think it was probably more in my head this time because I was like thinking about the direction and thinking about how I was supposed to say this line or how should I say this line. You know, it's never perfect. There's things that could obviously improve. I tried to be more what they were asking me to, but then sometimes it's hard to know if you're exactly what they're asking. Basically, was I winning the room? Were they engaged? Did they like it? And like, I just don't know. Like, I just have no clue. So at the end, they're like, okay, that was much better. Like, that's good. She was like, I'll call you or I'll email you like with whatever. And basically, she's gonna email after it's done. So that was good. Overall, I just wanted to say, guys, I was sitting there and I was like, if I could audition every day of my life, I would. Once I move to LA and like actually start trying to audition, it's probably gonna be a little bit more frustrating and it's not gonna be as much fun, but like, I love sitting in the room and just working my script. I love sitting there and like performing in front of them. Whether it's good or bad, I love it. I want to do it again and I would want to do it better and I just want to get better at it. I just want to perform and do it and have a chance. Yeah, and another thing was also be a nice person. I was talking to someone who was signing in and I was just nice and like friendly and like whatever. Like I tried to be kind of hammy. And like he turned out to be someone who was like in the room while I was like auditioning. So I was trying to make a point to say hi to everyone, say bye to everyone, say thank you. Be a nice, polite person. So with that, this video is like 30 minutes long and I have other videos. So this is gonna be a really long video, but it's okay because I wanted to tell you guys everything and I haven't been making videos. So like who knows when this video is gonna even come out? Like what? So I wanted to make this. I love you guys. You guys' support on my last video was amazing. I hope to do more videos like this for you guys and upload regularly. Apart from that, I will see you guys next time. Ciao. I love you guys. Ciao.